All right, ladies and gentlemen. We are very, very fortunate this morning to have from the Southwest office, the business brokerage extraordinaire of the universe, or at least of Las Vegas, Jennifer Weinberg. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Woo, thank you so much. Happy to be here this morning. Happy Monday.
Yes, and I'm looking at the production reports always, and I see you're killing it again this year. So before we get into that, tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this wonderful thing, please.
Yeah, so I actually started with our company, Prudential Americana. I was personally hired by Mark Stark back in 2000, and have come and gone a few times, but I'm back, and this is where I will stay till I retire. But I've been in the business 25 years, actually. Started off in residential. I would say about year 6, 7. I started, I decided that I wanted to be a business broker and went and got my business broker's permit. And through the years, I've now established myself as the business broker and a full commercial agent where I operate and practice in all aspects of commercial real estate: industrial, retail, land, office, businesses. So, that's how I started.
It's such a unique and exciting thing that obviously, as you know, it's not for everyone. You have to be really good, committed. They're bigger deals. They take longer. So it's a really interesting, like residential is easy. I mean, when I say easy, it's easier, meaning, you have a small sale price, but right. Because everybody's moving, this is more of a logical business type thing, isn't it?
It is, and there's a lot of moving parts in this side of the business. We have attorneys a lot of the time. We have gaming. We have liquor. Gosh forbid, if I ever get in a deal where I'm selling a bar, I might not get paid for a year because it's 12 months to get a gaming license unless there's no contingency in there. So, I would say my average deal takes 3 to 5 months to close. It's no easy feat. So, you definitely, if you want to be on this side of the business, probably have to work a bit harder to get where you want to be.
All right. Since I just thought of a question out of the blue. What's the most, and without violating anybody's confidence, obviously, I know you'd never do that, but what is the most unique business that you've sold recently?
I have to say, growing up in Vegas, I've been really fortunate to sell some cool businesses. One of them was Crystal Palace Skating Rink. I sold that to Floyd Mayweather. I have.
My wife still talks about that place when she was a kid growing up here.
Yeah, I had my 10th birthday there, So, but yeah, I've done some really cool deals. I've been able to be a part of, a lot of cool things here in Vegas as far as business acquisitions go. I do have, I think most people know, I have a big deal in escrow right now, which will be iconic. Be proud to sell when it closes in a couple weeks. And it's kind of cool to be able to sell those when you grew up in Vegas and have spent a lot of time in these places. So.
Yeah, Vegas is, and that's one of the things, when I moved here 15 16 years ago, I thought I'd be here for a year or two, doing something for the Mike Ferry organization. And then I fell in love with the place because of everything you just said. It's a unique place. We're not just a strip. We have a lot of things going on, but it's such a unique, great place to live, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And it provides such opportunity, especially for business owners, which is why I, continually, I'm able to help business owners come to Las Vegas even after 25 years. It's more busy now than it's ever been. Businesses want to move here. They're relocating. They're looking for business acquisition. They're looking for space to lease, buildings to buy. It's a great time to invest. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit, and I know you know your script, so tell us a little about, I'm a business, I'm thinking about moving here. What are some of the pluses for a business to move to Las Vegas, Nevada?
Well, I mean, of course, the tax structure is number one, right? I mean, that is the single. It's certainly not for the weather. No, I'm kidding. It's we do have great weather here, -3, let's call it 3 months out of the year where it's extremely difficult to live here in the heat. But, we provide great weather. We have a great tax structure. It's easy to live here and get around. And that's, I think, what people really enjoy about Las Vegas is it's literally a tic-tac-toe board with streets going, in each direction across the valley. So I would say those are big benefactors, especially for business owners that are thinking about moving to Las Vegas. This is definitely things they take into consideration.
Yeah, and especially if they're coming from California, Washington, or, I mean, the cost of living for them moving employees is also very attractive, isn't it?
It really is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially
Yeah,
now, with the tariffs, I think that there'll be a lot more activity locally moving businesses here because tariffs are making it very expensive for big businesses to operate out of the country. So I think we'll see a lot of movement in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. Help them understand, because I agree with you, and, it may take a little while. It's going to take a commitment, but explain to them what that means, because I think it'd be good for them to understand that.
Well, I mean, tariffs, I think, is going to not only affect, the business side of things, but also residentially. I mean, you're talking about, building homes and getting their material. Well, with tariffs now going into place, it's going to be much more difficult to get those at a good price. Same for businesses. A lot of businesses have their main hubs in other countries, for manufacturing or whatever their plan or their business plan is, but they're moving them because the tariffs are too expensive to have their companies out of the country. It costs too much to bring the product back here. So what I've seen from business owners they're starting to rethink their whole game plan at this point, and maybe bringing these services back to the U.S. That's what I'm hearing from business owners, which the reason they took them out is because it was cheaper. Now it's not cheaper. So though they may have to pay maybe for work here, it will be a little bit more expensive, but overall it'll save them from the tariffs.
Right, and it seems like as long as they have a plant or something, as long as they have some connection or, headquarters definitely out of the United States, then their tariffs they just have to have more of a participation in the American investment as far as plants, businesses, and so forth.
Correct. That's correct. So things are they're pivoting right now, and we'll see what happens the next few years. But it's been very busy, at least for my business this year.
Yeah. Tell us. Well,
a lot of relocation.
That was very. What's that again?
A lot of people relocating right now to Las Vegas.
And where are they coming from? Everywhere, or what's the most common?
I have to say year after year, it's always most common to California is where most of my buyers come from. But they really come from all over, looking for change, looking to buy into, Nevada. And it's because of where we're at in Las Vegas. I've lived here since 1978 when I was just a little girl. And, we're world renowned. We're world renowned for food. We're world renowned for entertainment. We're world renowned for pretty much everything now. So it's become a huge hot spot, and people continually will move here and think until we run out of land.
Yeah, that's a waste. The government keeps on giving some back and, whatever they call that, donating them or I don't know what the word is exactly, but it seems like they keep doing it in bits and pieces too, because there's a lot of land around here. You're absolutely correct. I think that, it's a great place for a lot of, and like you mentioned, when Tina and I travel and they say, where are you from? Like you're in Paris, you say, where are you from? Las Vegas. Oh, Las Vegas. But the attitude is changing more to business and family and, like you said, sports, entertainment, food, F1, we have, that's Formula, folks, Formula One. We have so many things going on here from a business standpoint that it's just a great place for businesses to move.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right. So tell us a little about you and how you do your business. Like, in residential, people need to talk to people, prospect, fill a pipeline, follow up, create relationships. And I know yours is very the same, but give us some details on how exactly you do that, please.
I stick to the basics. Even after 25 years, I'm still a Brian Buffini girl. I still write my personal notes. I still, do my pop buys, and I schmooze. That is the way I've done business for 25 years, and I will continue to do business that way because it's worked for me and it's made me very successful. So I am definitely by the book with Brian Buffini. And, you're never, even after 25 years, you're never too old to go back to the basics. I still cold call. I mean, almost 100% of my business comes from referrals, but I still do mailers every week to business owners. I cold call. When I say I cold call, it's a different kind of cold call. I'm cold calling the business owner at the business. Hi,
Right.
Rick. Oh, hi. I see you own ABC convenience store. Have you ever thought about selling? Oh, no, Jen, I'm fine. I appreciate the call. Oh, well, have you thought about expanding? I see you're in Henderson. You ever thought about something? Oh, actually, I am. I'm looking for 2,000 square. So, I'm on the phone all the
Right.
time. I'm always doing mailers, but, that's what it takes. You never get to a point, I think, in your career where you can just, let the basics go, so to speak.
Right. I'll tell you this quick story. I sold the only something like you would do deal I ever did. Well, I did a couple of them, but this was the biggest one. Was a 17 unit, had a convenience store. He actually owned another couple like it, and I sold it. It was like my biggest deal at the time. This is probably like 1990, 89 maybe, and I sold it for like $500,000. And then what I did was I went to the tax records, and everybody that owned a multi-unit in the area with a convenience store, or even without one, and I would call them with that script. Hey, I just sold a multi in your area. And it seems like it works really well when you give them an example. But I did find a lot of leads doing it that way. I think that's a great. Personally, me, I love doing it that way.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest success story, Rick, this year was for the last year or so, I have a really great client, well funded. They own some daycares here in Las Vegas, and he wanted to expand. There was nothing on the market. Well, I'm an aggressive agent. You just tell me what you want, show me proof of funds. I'm going to be all over it, right? So I took upon and for the last year, I've been sending the same people mailers, to every real estate owned daycare in Las Vegas, asking them if they want to sell. And I sent it out like 5 times. You know what I mean? Finally, and I got calls, I almost got a listing out of it, but what I did get was a seller. Now the seller and buyer, we're about to go into escrow, and I will be making myself a $150,000 commission off a cold call.
Nice. I love those stories.
Yeah, off a cold call. And, it's that aggressive behavior. It's not out there, go find it for your client. Now, I don't know how much, that fits into the residential model, right? Because it's a little bit different for me. You tell me you want to go buy a pharmacy. Well, it's easy for me in my program to go find every pharmacy in Las Vegas, send them out a letter. Obviously it works a little differently in residential. But, if you're aggressive enough and keep going, then, success will find you.
Yeah, I actually have a script called the Hunt Buyer script that I send them out. So let's say you sell a home in a neighborhood, or even if you didn't, and you have a buyer. I want that neighborhood. You just knock the neighborhood. Hey, we sold a home in your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Right? And so to me, that's one of the best reasons to go. I have a buyer for this neighborhood. Are you thinking about selling? Right? That's basically what you're doing, except from a commercial standpoint.
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So my favorite question. All right. So and take your time and elaborate as much as possible. So I'm an agent. I'm trying to be successful, whether it be commercial, residential, because they're very similar but different. What would be the 3 top things that you would tell them to focus on?
To focus on?
Yeah. Like, okay, so these are the things, like, talk to people, whatever, the 3 most important points if I want to be successful in real estate.
Yeah. Well, Mark Stark told me one thing I will never forget 25 years ago when I first started in the business. He said, Jen, all you need to do is talk to 5 people a day, real conversations, not a message, not an actual conversation, 5 conversations a day, and you will be fine for the rest of your life. And I took that to heart, and that is something I still tell my own team when they're starting out, 5 contacts a day. So word from the wise, that's definitely one of them. My other 2 would be, I would say hustle earlier, and don't be a yes person all the time. You need to set boundaries. That would be my advice. Yeah.
Okay. So hustle earlier. Tell me what that means. I like the way that sounds.
Yeah. Well, 25 years in the business, I was a single mom, and I kind of had the attitude, maybe because I was tired, because it was like having 2 jobs my whole life. But, I always felt like if I had just, not if I just tried a little bit more, it'd be much further along now that I'm 50. You know what I mean? Where I went, oh, okay, well, I got a deal in the hopper. I'm going to take the day off. You know what I mean? Where I shouldn't have taken the day off and, felt like I, just started, the next day and started cold calling. So now I'm hustling a little bit more in my 50s, trying to retire than I could have been 25 years ago if I just hustled a little bit more.
So don't get complacent when you got a few deals under contract or a decent amount of money.
Don't get complacent. Yep.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's a really good one because a lot of agents do that. They lose motivation. They have, and I think everybody has like a certain value. Like, when I have this much under contract, then I can scale back, which is not a good idea because when you put a deal or two together, you're on a roll. You're thinking differently. You should keep on going and keep the roll going, right?
You should, absolutely. While you got the momentum going.
Love it. And set boundaries. Help us understand. So I think I know what you mean there, but explain that a little bit, please.
I think, the beginning of my career, I was too afraid to say no. I remember when they would be like, oh, can you come over at some time that really didn't work for me? And I would be like, yes, and then get off the phone and freak out and try to rearrange my whole life. Or now, I understand that they're not going to go away if you say no. Oh, I'm sorry, Wednesday, 7 o'clock doesn't work for me. How about Thursday at 6? Where I was like, yes to whatever they said because I was petrified that I might lose a client. But, I find out now, or if I figured out 25 years later, respect does come when, it's not from the yes person. You got to set boundaries. Don't answer your phone at 8 o'clock at night, to let the client know you're always available, unless it's obviously an emergency. But I set boundaries, where I didn't have that discipline early on. So.
Right. I love it. Yeah, it's so true. And it actually makes you more professional. It makes you look more professional and busy.
It does.
Because if you're always available, it comes across as desperate, doesn't it?
It really does. And I am always available for my clients during the day. If they call, I'll pick up. But, I do have a set time at night. Unless it's like I'm expecting a call or there's or I have to talk to the client. Obviously, there's always those situations in our field. But for the most part, I don't field calls after dinner, because it's my time with my family. Right. And that's important.
That is one of the things that's a little bit better about business is that people understand business hours more than, oh my God, my home inspection. It's the residential sale is a little more emotional than the commercial, right. I think.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I thought I'd get out of residential for the emotional factor, and commercial, definitely you don't have the emotional factor there. Commercial is very easy, do you like this 10,000 square foot industrial space, A, B, or C? They all look the same. Which one do you like? It's very easy to make a decision. But what I did learn is it's not the same. It's definitely the same as residential. When you think you're going to walk into someone that had their business 30 years, their blood, sweat, and tears, and you tell them that their business is worth, $50,000 or $100,000. And I've been escorted out of the building before, so. Wow. But yeah, so try that on for size, going and telling a business owner their business isn't worth anything after 30 years of their life. It's not an easy conversation.
Wow.
So it's a tough conversation to have.
I remember early in my career, I got escorted out of a house by a little old lady who her husband just passed away, and I was brutally honest on the price, and she wasn't ready for that yet. And I learned then when people pass away, the emotional attachment by the living spouse is usually comes out in inflated value. So be a little bit more kid gloves about it. Because she asked me to leave. So I understand when you're brutally honest, sometimes people don't like to hear that, do they? Unfortunately.
They don't like to hear it. It's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, especially when, it's their livelihood.
Yeah.
A house is a house, but a job is a job, and a business is a business. So it's a little bit more, I think, sometimes emotional for them, believe it or not. And, it makes my job a little bit tougher sometimes, where I have to kind of adhere to that emotional aspect of, that side of it. So yeah, but it's definitely, what I do is extremely difficult. I think there's maybe 20 business brokers all of Las Vegas. And, but, seems to work for me, seems to work for me.
Well, oh my God, it works incredibly well for you. I mean, your numbers are great. You're obviously upbeat and positive about it. So I know you're doing really well. How's the business as a whole right now? Is it pretty healthy?
I think business as a whole is pretty healthy. I don't know how other business brokers are doing, but I can tell you from the volume in the leads that I get off my own listings, I mean, it's just very busy. A lot of people relocating, a lot of people coming out here to buy businesses and, relocate their business from another state. So my side's very busy. I can't say how other agents are doing, but.
Yeah. Well, you're obviously very busy. And that's great.
Yeah. This is actually going to be my best year. In 25 years, it'll be my best year.
I was going to say, you're on track to have your best year. And last year was a good year, too, for
you. Yeah.
All right. Any other gems of wisdom you want to leave these lovely people today, Jen?
I kind of go back to the air of caution. A lot of agents try to do what I do without having the proper licensing and without really knowing what they're doing. And I just caution everybody, to find a business broker that you work well with and refer it out, stay in your lane and try to just focus on what you're good at, because the real estate division does not take kindly to people that are trying to do what I do without a business broker permit. So, I'll tell you a quick horror story. I got a call from a guy, and he owned a very successful auto repair place. Okay, he was making about $1 million a year. I mean, a really really good business. His friend, his bestie, just got his real estate license. Okay, said, "Oh, I'll list your business for you," even though he had his license a month. Okay. To make a long story short, and this is the story I got. He listed it. They found a buyer. He didn't know that you're supposed to open escrow and get earnest money. It's treated as the same as a residential deal when we would do. So open escrow, we have earnest money, same thing. Never got earnest money. They tied up the business. They said that they were going to get ready to close in a few days, and they wanted all the employees and all of his cars, all of his stuff out of there. So the seller moves his stuff out in anticipation of a closing, and the buyers go, "Oh, sorry, we changed our mind," a few weeks later. So his business, he was never able to put it back together, and he lost millions of dollars. He was never able to sell his business again because he had already shut it down.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because an agent who just got his license, who didn't want to miss out on a big commission, decided to try to sell it himself.
And that's unfortunate. That's common with people that aren't with good brokerages too, because they don't look at that. What a violation of your fiduciary responsibility, which is to the client, right? It's so bad because you said the key words. They didn't want to miss out, meaning I'm thinking only of myself, not my client. And that is such, some people have to learn that the hard way. And unfortunately, and some brokers aren't paying attention, so their clients have to go through that. But yeah, great story. Great stuff.
Yeah, it is. And I would say one other thing I want to just mention to our viewers. I think everybody knows I'm on the LVR board, but I am president of CALV, Commercial Alliance Las Vegas, and we have some great CE. Yep, we have some great CE classes. So to anyone that's listening, if you get tired of the same old CE, come and learn something different. We have some great classes at LVR, and I've written most of them myself. And they're about commercial, business brokerage. So at least, they can talk intelligently to their client, you know what I mean, and learn something different, sit through a new class. So if anyone's looking for CE, they're always listed on the LVR website, or they can go to calv.org.
That is so awesome. And I love what you said earlier, all your commercial deals, folks, you're with Berkshire Hathaway, most of you listening today. So please don't hesitate to refer them over to Jennifer Weinberg. Jennifer, I want to say thank you very much for taking your time out today. As always, this is very informative, and I'm sure a lot of people got some nuggets out of today. So thank you very much for taking your time out today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rick. Have a great Monday.
You too. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.